So, I've been saying that I was going to do a video telling the history about this old car. Me and this car's had a long history together. I bought this car on December 13th of 1993. It was my first car. It was yellow. And I'm sure you're going to hear some wind noise. But I bought this car. I had the choice between this car and a 1970 Monte Carlo. Both these cars didn't run. So I chose this one, and this is what we drug home. Paid $300 for this car in 1993. It was a good friend of mine's parents' car. Drove it all through high school. Done a lot of crazy stuff, lots of burnouts. The wheels come off of it 3 or 4 times. Broke tons of U-joints. And back during that time, it had a stock 351 Windsor in it. Actually, it had a couple of different stock ones in it. But around 2000, I traded this car off. I traded it for a Cobra 2 Mustang 2. Super nice car. Ended up taking, that was right after I'd swapped this thing to a 429 C6. I traded this car off. Traded it for a Mustang 2. I kept it for a little while. Put the built Windsor, that was the last small block that was in this car, into the Mustang 2. Got to missing it. So then I traded it back. So then I had my car back. Well, during that time, everybody kept telling me the car was worthless. Wasn't ever going to be worth anything because it wasn't a Mustang. So I traded it for a 86 GT. That was around, I don't know, 2002, early 2003. I traded it for an 86 GT Mustang. It's one of the stupidest things I'd ever done. I traded it to a buddy of mine. Well-known friend, mutual friend of many of mine, and never figured this car would leave or go anywhere. That it would always be around just to get it back. Well, that wasn't the case. It disappeared. And I spent a lot of time via the internet tracking this car down. I found it in 2009 when my youngest daughter was born. At that time, I had the 74 Maverick with the Turbo LS. It was in CarCraft. I'll drop a picture of it right here. And the guy that had it wanted to kind of twist my arm, and the only way he would trade back was for the Maverick. Well, at the time, this wasn't a super nice car. It looked exactly like I did when I had it before. And then at that time, I just couldn't trade a $15,000 car for a $3,000 car at the time. And my youngest daughter, she was born. She had heart problems, dealing with all that mess and stuff. I let the car go. When things got a little better, I mean, she got through all her surgeries a few years later, I started hunting the car again. Couldn't find it. Made posts on Torino Cobra forums. Made posts on Facebook. Made posts on other forums. I've had every crazy answer, from this car was wrecked and scrapped. You know, people just being a-holes basically. To every wild story. And I've chased every wild story down. Well, about 3 years ago, I reached out to Lost Muscle Cars on Facebook. I sent Wes all the information I had. Now, I had lots of information on this car because I built this car. I knew everything about it. So, within 2 weeks, Wes found it. I don't know what his connections are, but he done a good job. Talked to the guy that owned it, worked a deal with him. worked a deal with him. I ended up buying the car back. Gave tons of money for his car back for the shape that it was in. They had went through, they took the car completely apart and painted it. But as far as anything else, that's where that stopped. Car was painted. It was completely apart. No headliner, no nothing. Nobody had even changed oil in this car since I owned it last. It still had the same oil filter on it had when I got rid of it. So I put the car back together. Run it for a little while. The old motor that was in it, which was a 72 model 429, it came out of a 72 Torino Sport fastback. It was tired. The motor was tired. Which it was tired when I had it. When I say I beat the crap out of this old car, I mean I absolutely have. So I drove it for a little while with the 429 in it. Wasn't never happy with how it run. So I picked up a 460 and I built a 460. This is what's in this car now. It's a 460 cubic inch. It's got 69 model 460 pistons in it. It's a stock bottom end. It's got a set of ported aluminum cylinder heads. They were done by Cylinder Head Concepts. It's got an Edelbrock RPM big block Ford cam in it because I wanted a USA made camshaft and a set of lifters. The cam is too small for the way this motor's set up, but it is super torquey. As you can see, it's got a Dominator on it with the cool old Moroso quick release bowl screws. But basically, everything but the paint job in this car was done by me. I went through this car again. I freshened up the suspension. I freshened up the brakes. Put a new motor in it. It's got a 3500 stall converter in it. Took the 325 gears out of it. It's got a 411 Ford gear in it with a spool. It's got a full lightweight spool in it. Caltrack bars with Calvert shocks. In the back, it's got Calvert shocks in the front. No sway bar. It's a fun street car. Now, in the 90s, something like this would be fast. And that's what I wanted. I wanted that 90s feel. A high school hot rod feel, which I have now. There's one thing that you can't replace, and that's sentimental value. And everybody's always wondered why I hunted this car so hard and so bad. Well, some things just stick with you. You know, I've met lots of friends because of this old car. I've learned a lot of stuff because of this old car. Everything that I do today, I owe to this. Whether changing U-joints on the side of the road, breaking down, driving through fields, doing donuts, burnouts, street racing it. It's had it all. This was also when I painted this car. The first time I painted anything was this car. Like I said, I've got tons of pictures of it. And I'll drop them in throughout here. And I'll probably make a little slideshow at the end. But basically, it just means a lot to me. Sometimes stuff's something else other than a car. It's your memories. It's what you learn. And nothing can replace that. So, basically, if you're one of the ones that told me I'd never find this car, it's on you now, ain't it? It's here. So, basically, I'm just going to end this right here. I'm not going to ramble on forever. But that's pretty much the backstory on this car. We've had lots of adventures. We've been lots of places. I've probably put over 200,000 miles on this car. Probably made 300 passes in it. It's a good old car. It won't never go anywhere. I'll get rid of everything else I own before this car goes anywhere again. So, that's it. That's the gist of it. If you like this kind of stuff, just let me know in the comments. If you got any kind of input, just let me know. I'm going to go ride around some more. Enjoy this beautiful day that we have. It may be cold, but it's awful pretty. And this was the most quiet place I could find to make a video. So, see you tomorrow.
Help out like you should. It's a burden that you never really understood. But Caroline, I'm doing fine. It's the others who are dying. Light a candle or curse the dark. It's all the same to me. Start a fire or drown the spark and shake away the heat. Tell the truth or live a lie. Just don't close your eyes. And you're breaking, but you're faking. Nothing's ever wrong. You can't see